This video, I want to talk about a big, unique thing happening that already happened. You can tell from the title. For all my rideshare drivers out there, Waymo is now officially released in Austin. And what's crazy about this, I thought this was going to happen way later this year, but it just happened. You can see right here, Uber and Waymo launch autonomous vehicle rides in Austin. Boom. Uber said Wednesday on March 5th, this past Wednesday at the time of this video, that it is now offering rides in autonomous vehicles in Austin, Texas, and will do the same later in Atlanta. This is happening sooner than I thought. I thought both Austin and Atlanta would happen a bit later in 2025 when it comes to Waymo getting bigger and bigger. And it says here that riders who opt in for this offering, so you have to do it, it's on the Uber app, which I will talk about a lot in depth because I've mentioned that in a lot of videos. If that's a bit alarming, I'll be honest, a bit alarming. We'll be offering, I know my voice went high pitched there, but it's going to be offering on the Uber app in Austin, and you could be matched with an autonomous vehicle, like I said, Waymo. With Waymo's technology and Uber's proven platform, so this is an integration. We're excited to introduce our customers to a future of transportation that is increasingly electric and autonomous. Riders who request an Uber, Uber Green, Comfort, or Comfort Electric could be matched with one of Waymo's fully autonomous Jaguar I-Pace vehicles, according to this release. This, I think, is a good thing. Before the vehicle is sent to pick them up, riders will have the option to accept the autonomous vehicle or request a ride with a driver, the release said. So you do have the option. I do like that. That is very, very smart. Because I'm kind of curious, and there's a lot to unpack here on this video, which I will talk about in terms of my recap after this article, but is it going to be cheaper or not? That's a big question I have, but again, we'll get there. When a Waymo vehicle arrives, riders can use the Uber app to unlock the vehicle, open the trunk, and start the trip, which is what you typically do with a Waymo. They will also be able to access customer service at any time through the app or inside the vehicle. It will cover 37 square miles in Austin, according to the release. The companies plan to expand this range in the future. I also wonder if this is happening because of South by Southwest, which just started, or is starting soon in Austin. I can't remember when South by is happening this year. But South by Southwest, in case you don't know, I'm actually not going this year. I usually go every year, but it's like a 7 to 10 day long festival of every intersection of every industry you've ever heard of. I mean, everything from technology, education, entertainment, comedy, music, art, cryptocurrency, everything you can think of. It's an amazing, there's nothing else like it, right? So I wonder if maybe they're doing this to kind of promote it more during South by. I'm not entirely sure. And it's in here that Atlanta's up next. Employees are already taking fully autonomous trips with Waymo in the city, a key step as we prepare to offer Waymo rides to the public there only on Uber. Now, here's the thing. Because on this channel, I talk a lot about ride sharing. This channel was originally a ride sharing channel. Now it's going and transitioning into like a making money in general channel, whether it's about YouTube or cryptocurrency or accounting or finance or business, etc. And I've done a lot of videos about making money as a rideshare driver, Uber, Lyft, etc. And I think what's bothering me, or not bothering me, but worrisome about Waymo is just the fact that it's now being put into more places. And this is an instance, and I have mentioned this already in a few videos, this is an instance where I'm like, the integration of Uber and Waymo is like a supercharged, synergistic, combination. Because here in LA, for example, in case you don't know, you can download the Waymo app. There's no waitlist. You can just do it. You download the Waymo app and you can order Waymo. So technically, two separate things here in LA. You need to download a new app. You then need to create a new account, create a new password, put in your credit card information. There's a lot of steps to ordering a Waymo. And I know it's simple. To us, we're like, it takes 2 seconds. To most people, they're like, it takes 2 seconds. But as every customer acquisition specialist knows, the more steps it takes for somebody to get there, the more they're likely to drop off or be like, I'm just going to order an Uber, right? And I think that does, for better or for worse, help out drivers here. Because one big hot topic for rideshare drivers is self-driving cars. Basically, self-driving cars, taxis, and rideshares taking over the human drivers. And I do still think we are a long ways away from that. I still think that we are years down the line from that just because the biggest thing is the inventory, right? In order for you to have a Waymo, you have the Jaguar I-Pace, which means you need more of that car. Then you need to build that car out entirely differently to have all this stuff on it to self-drive, right? It's not like with Uber and Lyft that when someone signs up as a driver, they just use their own car. Boom, no big deal. Whether it's a Honda, whether it's a Toyota, whether it's a Ford, doesn't matter. They just use their car. But these Waymo cars are very specific. There's a bunch of testing and protocol. You're talking about people's lives on the line. So many intense things that factor into the liability of this, right? So there is a lot of inventory issues because you can't just use any car. It has to be a self-driving car with good testing that's been approved, all this kind of stuff. So I do think we're far away from that, but it is starting to become a bit of a thing, right? We're here in the places that Waymo's in right now when it comes to the app is Phoenix, LA, and San Francisco. And it could be that a lot of these Waymos are now taking away rides from Uber and Lyft drivers, especially because, as I've talked about in a few videos already, Waymos are now becoming cheaper than Ubers and Lyfts. I still will say it's a bit of a coin flip. I might even say 60-40, where 60% of the time, Ubers and Lyfts are cheaper. 40% of the time, Waymos are cheaper. But even still, that's not that good of a percentage, right? In the sense that for a lot of people, when it comes to the almighty dollar, especially with the way the economy is going, a lot of people say, hey, if I can get there cheaper, I don't care how I'm getting there. And if Waymo consistently starts to get cheaper and cheaper, where it's almost always cheaper than Uber and Lyft, not the best for my human drivers out there, right? And in addition, looking at this with Austin, which surprises me and also makes me a bit like, oof, when I look at this, like I've reacted to already, is the fact that it's an integration now. Which means that before, like I mentioned when it comes to downloading the app in Austin, it's like, well, if you download, you have to download the app, like I said, create an account, password, blah, blah, blah. I've already mentioned that. But in Austin, you already can have an Uber account. All your stuff's already in there, and now when you go to order, it could potentially be a Waymo or a human, which means that the integration is so seamless and pretty genius, if I'd even use that word, where now Waymos, in my opinion, would be even more common because for somebody who, like, say, does not want to download another app and create another account and create blah, blah, they can just order with an Uber. And it's that simple. It kind of reminds me a lot of, like, say, when Amazon, in a unique way, bought Whole Foods. Where it's like before you go to Amazon, you already have an Amazon account. You, like, say, you already have Amazon Prime, and you order stuff. Well, now you can get groceries through Whole Foods using your Amazon account. A genius collab. I'm going to call it collaboration because they technically bought them out, but like you get what I'm saying. It's a good business move, love it or hate it, because now people already have an Amazon account and 90% of people can just, boom, get stuff through Whole Foods in a unique way that they couldn't before through delivery services, et cetera, however they want to do it, right? And I think this is kind of similar to that where now you can get a self-driving car in seconds in Austin, super easily and absolutely super seamless. Kind of wild. It's just showing that self-driving cars are becoming more prevalent now and becoming easier to order too, and I'd be kind of curious to see how this impact happens in Austin. Austin is a very forward city when it comes to technology and very unique city. I love Austin. And then Atlanta later this year. I've never actually been to Atlanta, just being honest, but, maybe at some point I'll check it out. In general, though, I think just what's very interesting about this is I thought this was going to happen, like I said, way later this year, but it's happening now. We're in it. The future's here. And again, we have two cities now on the horizon when it comes to Waymo, but not just Waymo apps, but Waymo integrations, which is a whole other thing. And I think that makes it a lot easier for people to order self-driving cars. Who knows, though? Maybe it'll be the opposite. Maybe, from, like, say, here in LA, if I want to get an Uber, I have to order an Uber on the Uber app. If I want to get a self-driving car, I have to go to Waymo, order that Waymo. So maybe there's a pro and a con of it being all in one app. Maybe I'd be kind of curious to see how the customer clientele works. Will a lot of people, which could potentially happen, could a lot of people, like, say, order an Uber, Waymo pops up, or they give the option to get a Waymo, and a lot of people say, no, I'm not trusting this self-driving car thing. No way. Give me a human. Maybe it's actually going to be harder to get a ride when it comes to Waymo than here in LA, that even though, here in LA, you have to download the app and create an account, people are more likely to do that because they know exactly what they're getting into, and they're going to expect one given result. But with Austin, when it comes to the Uber app, maybe people might be more thrown off, being like, hey, I want a human driver. I don't want this self-driving stuff. Get it out of here. Just give me human. Tough to say, but it's now released in Austin, so we'll have to see how it goes down.